Hi, this is Alan Begg from McMaths and welcome to this week's quiz. We're continuing on the summer sessions of Odd One Out quizzes. 20 questions, 4 possible answers. Please pause, review and write down your answers as we're going along. We'll do the 20 questions first, then we'll do the 20 answers. Good luck. The 20 questions are going to be general knowledge. The objective is to spot the odd one out and why. Here comes the 20 questions. Good luck. Remember, pause and rewind and write your answers down as you're playing along. Question 1. A. Haven't. B. Shouldn't. C. Can't. D. Isn't. What's the odd one out from these 4 contractions and why? Question 2 is a question about the formula for D diameter. Is it D equals 2 times R, R standing for radius? Is it D equals R divided by 2? Is it D equals 4 times R? Or is it D equals R divided by 2 times pi? Question 3 is a question about the value for pi. Does pi equal 5? Does pi equal 3.14? Does pi equal 7.77? Or does pi equal 2? What is the numerical advantage of pi? Question 4. Questions about the 24-hour clock. 09:30 equals 9:30 a.m. 21:30 equals 9:30 p.m. 01:30 equals 1:30 p.m. 01:30 equals 1:30 a.m. Which is the odd one out here and why? Question 5. 10:30 a.m. equals 10:30. 11:15 a.m. equals 11:15. 11:15 a.m. equals 11:45. 22:30 equals 10:30 p.m. Question 6. 5 to midnight equals 00:05. 5 to midnight equals 11:55. 5 to midnight equals 23:55. Or D, 5 to midnight equals 12:55. Question 7. A, 2. B, 2. C, toe. D, 2. What's the odd one out from these 4 words and why? Question 8. The following questions are about BODMAS. 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7 equals 16. 5 plus 2 times 5 minus 5 equals 10. 16 plus 4 in brackets divided by 4 equals 5. and D, 9 plus 3, 12 divided by 3 equals 7. Question 9. A equals square root of 9 equals 2. B, square root of 4 equals 1. C, square root of 64 equals 9. And D, square root of 16 equals 4. Third one out here is the correct answer. All the other three are incorrect. Question 10, halfway there. 2 squared plus 3 squared equals 13. 16 plus 4 in brackets divided by 4 equals 5. 9 plus 12 divided by 3 equals 13. 2 squared times the square root of 16 times 2 in brackets equals 30. Remember, feel free to pause any of these questions. Some of them are going to take much longer than the 10 seconds allotted to work them out. Okay, so halfway through, how are you doing so far? Question 11. This shape, this shape, this shape, or this shape. What's the odd one out from these 4 two-dimensional shapes and why? Question 12. 2/8, 20/80, 3/12, 6/12. What's the odd one out from these 4 fractions and why? Question 13. A half times a half equals a quarter. 2/5 times 2/5 equals 4/25. 2/3 times 1/3 equals 2/9. A half times a third times a quarter equals 1. What's the odd one out and why? Question 14. This triangle, this triangle, this triangle, and this triangle. What's the odd one out from these 4 triangles and why? Question 15. Loud, quiet, noisy, blaring. What's the odd one out from these 4 adjectives and why? Question 16. Goldfish, moose, cat, series. What's the odd one out here and why? Bit of a tricky one, this one. Question 17. Buzz Lightyear, Woody, Mr. Potato Head, and Mickey Mouse. What's the odd one out from these 4 characters and why? Question 18. Eagle, emu, ostrich, chicken. What's the odd one out from these 4 birds and why? Question 19. Mexico, Europe, Africa, Asia. What's the odd one out and why? That was your penultimate question. Here's your final question. A. Glasgow. B. Dublin. C. Perth. D. Dundee. What's the odd one out from these 4 cities and why? That's your lot. That's your 10 questions. Please feel free to pause, rewind and review your answers. If you're ready, let's look at the answers. Question 1. This one was haven't, shouldn't, can't and isn't. 4 contractions here. What was the odd one out and why? The odd one out here was can't because it's not spelt correctly. It should be C-A-N''T, not C-A''Nt. It's a contraction of cannot. So the apostrophe is replacing the O of not. Question 2 was a question about the formula for diameter of a circle. D equaling diameter, R equaling radius. Is it D equals 2 times R? Is it D equals R divided by 2? Is it D equals 4 times R? Or is it D equals R divided by 2 times pi? What is the correct formula for diameter D of a circle in relation to R radius? The answer is D equals 2 times R. Diameter equals twice the radius. Question 3 was a question about the value for pi. Does pi equal 5 or 3.14 or 7.77 or 2? What is the value for pi? So the value for pi to 2 decimal places is 3.14. Question 4. 09:30, 9:30 a.m. 21:30, 9:30 p.m. 01:30, 1:30 p.m. or 01:30, 1:30 a.m. So one of these is the wrong 24-hour clock notation. Which one was the odd one out? The odd one out here is 01:30. 01:30 is not 1:30 p.m. 01:30 is 1:30 a.m. Question 5. 10:30 a.m. equals 10:30. 11:15 a.m. equals 11:15. 11:15 a.m. equals 11:45. 22:30 equals 10:30 p.m. So the odd one out here again is the incorrect one. The incorrect one here is 11:15 a.m. equaling 11:45. 11:15 a.m. does not equal 11:45. 11:15 a.m. equals 11:15. 11:45 is 12:45 a.m. 5 past midnight equals 00:05. 5 to midnight equals 11:55. 5 to midnight equals 23:55. Or D, 5 to midnight equals 12:55. So the odd one out here was the correct 24-hour clock notation for 5 to midnight, and that was 23:55. All the others are wrong. Question 6. 2 to toe and to. What was the odd one out from these 4 words and why was it the odd one out? The odd one out here, of course, was toe because the others are homophones. 2, 2 and 2 are words that sound exactly the same, but they are spelt differently, and of course they do not mean the exact same thing. Question 8. These following questions are about BODMAS. 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7 equals 16. 5 plus 2 times 5 minus 5 equals 10. 16 plus 4 in brackets divided by 4 equals 5. And 9 plus 12 divided by 3 equals 7. So the idea here is to follow the rules of BODMAS. In the case of A, 1 plus 3 equals 4, plus 5 equals 9, plus 7 equals 16. So that is correct. You do the multiplication first, so that is 2 times 5 equals 10. So we have 5 plus 10 equals 15, minus 5 equals 10. That is also correct. In this case, you do the addition in the parentheses first, in the brackets. So 16 plus 4 equals 20. 20 divided by 4 equals 5, so that is also correct. In this case here, you do the division first. 12 divided by 3 equals 4. 9 plus 4 equals 13. It does not equal 7. If you didn't use BODMAS, you would have 19 plus 12 equals 21 divided by 3 equals 7, but that is incorrect because you have got to use BODMAS. This is a question identifying the correct answer for the square root. Square root of 9 equals 2, square root of 4 equals 1, square root of 64 equals 9, and the square root of 16 equals 4. Only one of these answers is actually correct, and the correct one, of course, is the square root of 16 equals 4. The other three are incorrect. Question 10. Another BODMAS question. 2 squared plus 3 squared equals 13. 16 plus 4 in brackets divided by 4 equals 5. 9 plus 12 divided by 3 equals 13. Or 2 squared times the square root of 16 times 2 in brackets equals 30. Okay, we'll work through these. 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9, 4 and 9 equals 13, that's correct. This one here, you do what's in the brackets first. 16 plus 4 equals 20, 20 divided by 4 equals 5, that is correct. 12 divided by 3 equals 4, 9 plus 4 equals 13, that is correct. And this one, you would do what's inside the brackets first. Square root of 16 is 4, 4 times 2 equals 8. 2 squared is 4, so we now have 4 times 8 equals 32, not 30. Question 11. This shape, this shape, this shape, this shape. What was the odd one out from these 4 two-dimensional objects and why? The answer was A, because A is an octagon, an 8-sided shape. The others, B, C and D, are 4-sided shapes, also known as quadrilaterals. Question 12. 2 eighths, 20 80ths, 3 twelfths and 6 twelfths. What was the odd one out from these 4 fractions and why? The odd one out from these 4 fractions was 6 twelfths, because all the other ones can be simplified to 1 over 4, a quarter. 6 twelfths simplifies to a half, 1 over 2. Question 13. A half times a half equals a quarter. 2/5 times 2/5 equals 4/25. 2/3 times 1/3 equals 2/9. And a half times a third times a quarter equals 1. What was the odd one out from these four multiplication sums involving fractions? The odd one out here was D, because a half times a third times a quarter is 1/24. 1/24. 2 times 3 is 6, times 4 is 24. 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. 1/24, 1/24, not 1. Question 14. These four triangles. What was the odd one out from these four triangles? The odd one out here was triangle D, and that is because it is a scalene triangle and all the other three are equilaterals. Equilateral identified by 3 single lines of the same length, whereas a scalene triangle had 3 sides all different length. Question 15. Loud, quiet, noisy and blaring. What was the odd one out from these four adjectives? It was quiet. Loud, noisy and blaring basically mean the same thing. They are synonyms, whereas quiet is an opposite. It's an antonym. Question 16. Goldfish, moose, cat, series. What was the odd one out here and why? This is a pretty tricky one. How did you do with this one? Did you get it? Odd one out here was cat, because the plural for all the other three is the same word as the singular. 1 goldfish, 2 goldfish, 1 moose, 2 moose, 1 series, 2 series, whereas of course it's 1 cat, 2 cats. Question 17. Buzz Lightyear, Woody, Mr. Potato Head and Mickey Mouse. What was the odd one out here? Which character is the odd one out? The odd one out here, of course, is Mickey Mouse, because Buzz, Woody and Mr. Potato Head are all characters from Toy Story. Mickey Mouse does have a cameo, but he's not a lead character. Question 18. Eagle, emu, ostrich and chicken. What was the odd one out from these four birds and why? The odd one out from these four birds, of course, was eagle, and the reason for that is that the other three, although they're birds, they cannot fly. They're called flightless birds. The penultimate question. Mexico, Europe, Africa and Asia. What was the odd one out here? Geography question and why? The odd one out here was Mexico, because Europe, Africa and Asia are continents rather, whereas Mexico is a country in South America. Europe, Africa, Asia are continents. Mexico is not a continent. It's a country in South America. South America is a continent. Question 20, the last question. Glasgow, Dublin, Perth and Dundee. What was the odd one out here and why? The odd one out here was Dublin. The other cities are in Scotland. Dublin, of course, is in the Republic of Ireland. It's the capital city of the Republic. How did you do there? Was that fun? If you got some enjoyment from this, please consider liking it, share it with your friends and family, and subscribe. This is Alan Begg from Maths, tuning out for this week. See ya.